Taped from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, a show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
How you doing, Darren Patterson?
I'm good. You brought up the energy there. You switched up your pitch there, my friend.
Well, you know, I mean, I tried to be like 10% more fabulous, you know, because it is Pride Month and stuff, and we're doing a gay-themed movie.
Yes.
This week, so it seemed apropos.
I appreciate that, good sir. That is very lovely thing for you to do. Look at you, ally.
Look at me, an ally.
Very nice. And so we're doing the movie In and Out.
Yes.
Yes. Written by Paul Rudnick.
Right.
Jersey's own from Piscataway. He also wrote Sister Act and Addams Family Values and the movie Jeffrey, directed by the great and powerful Frank Oz, the man that, of course, gave us Little Shop of Horrors, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, What About Bob, House Sitter, and Bowfinger, which we've talked about on the podcast.
And Yoda and Miss Piggy and...
Yeah, that too. I was talking about movies he directed.
I know.
If you want to get into his puppeteering bona fides, I mean, we'd be here all night.
Yeah, sure. But, I mean, come on. You know, the man's one of the major Muppeteers, so...
Yes, that's
respect
true.
must be paid.
All right, absolutely, yes. The great Muppeteer that is Mr. Frank Oz.
Did you ever hear the story about, like, because he directed a movie with Marlon Brando.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of it. It was like Marlon Brando, De Niro, and Ed Norton, and I think they were all thieves. I never saw the movie.
Oh, The Score?
I think that was it, yeah. And like apparently Brando really didn't get along with Frank Oz, and he was like just giving him crap all through the movie. And he would like, I think he would call him Miss Piggy. And he'd be like, I bet you wish you could stick your hand up my ass and start making me do what you say.
Marlon Brando was difficult to work with.
Yeah, I know. Hard to believe. Yes. Hard to believe.
I know. He's a Chevy Chase of his day.
Yeah.
Good. I do remember that movie. See, Marlon Brando, Angela Bassett, De Niro, Norton.
Oh, I didn't realize Angela Bassett was in it.
Yeah, it came out in 2001. I think I saw this.
Okay, all right.
I vaguely remember seeing this.
I know I never saw that one, but you know, I'm not opposed to seeing that someday.
That's interesting. But yes, In and Out came out September 19th, 1997. Had a budget of $35 million, and it made $63.9 million.
So a modest hit. Okay.
Modest hit, and it got Joan Cusack the Oscar nomination, which was that was actually pretty surprising because the Academy Awards, they kind of famously always poo-poo and snub comedies. Like
they don't. Yeah, it takes a lot for them to recognize a good comedy. You know, you hardly ever have a comedy that's nominated for Best Picture, and occasionally you'll get comedic performances that are nominated, like Kevin Kline in A Fish Called Wanda. He actually won for that.
Oh, nice.
And I was reading on the IMDb trivia that the Oscar you see in this movie is actually Kevin Kline's own Oscar for A Fish Called Wanda.
Oh, wow. He brought it from home.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. All right. Save on the prop budget.
Yeah. It's like props department's like, hey, could you just bring yours from home, Kev? Cool.
Well, I mean, we did cast an Oscar winner, so, So, yeah, this was interesting. I was revisiting this movie because I saw it back in the day. I don't know if I've seen it since. Maybe I caught it on TV or something like that. But you'd never seen this movie before.
I have not. I'm trying to figure out why I've never seen it. Like, this came out...
Homophobia?
No. That's not it.
He initially agreed, ladies and gentlemen.
I did not.
He initially agreed. I trapped him.
Oh, my God.
This entire podcast has been a 6.5 year sting operation for getting out Darren Patterson as a homophobe. And I finally did it. Oh, yes. Ha!
I trusted you, man.
Ha! All right. Wrap it up, boys.
Oh, God. It's like Point Break all over again.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Oh, God. No, I appreciate that. Bravo, sir. Well done. Well done. But yeah, no, I don't know why. I just never saw it. Like maybe I didn't see it because I thought, oh, well, is this going to be maybe seen as, I don't know, like inappropriate, or are they going to
Yeah,
be? It's going to be just made as a big joke that a man coming out and them making
yeah.
sort of the hacky jokes like, oh, he likes Barbara Streisand, of course he's gay, type of stuff. And
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
and there was some of that in this, but it wasn't all of that, which I was
Yeah,
happy to see.
I was honestly, when I started watching, I was like, I started getting a little concerned. I was like, this is from 1997. That's quite a ways ago.
Hmm.
Um, maybe this hasn't aged as great as I remember. um,
Yeah,
but
but it's not.
it was pretty good overall, I would say.
Yeah, I would say so. I don't think there's
Yeah,
anything too problematic or cringe, as the kids say,
yeah,
in this thing. But yeah, overall, I thought it was an enjoyable film for sure.
yeah. I think it's fun. So, like the premise of it, we got Kevin Kline who's playing Howard Brackett, who's a teacher and coach at a high school in a small town called Greenleaf, Indiana.
Yes, fictional town, not fictional.
Yes, fictional.
Fictional. Oh, and also a little fun fact. Yeah, so Greenleaf, Indiana, it's a very Americana, town.
Mm-hmm.
Actually shot in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole high school scenes were shot in Pompton Lakes High School in Pompton Lakes, New Jersey.
Yeah, I was like, when I started getting into the trivia on the IMDb page, it was like, oh yeah, this was shot in New Jersey. This was shot in New Jersey. This was shot in New Jersey. I was like, it was
Yeah.
all those movies shot in New Jersey. Wow.
Yeah. Jersey, baby.
So, yeah.
We're the hub of it all.
So, yeah, I mean, hey, New Jersey, Dublin for Indiana in this movie.
Yeah. Forgot about it.
So Kevin Kline, he's a teacher and he's a coach at the high school. He's very well liked. He's popular. His students like him. That we see in an early scene, the students like all nervous about like whether he got accepted into college or not. And he's like, "Oh, Mr. Brackett, can you read my acceptance letter and let me know if I'm in or not?" And he's like, "Yeah, you got in, full scholarship, yay!" And
Yay!
high five and stuff.
Yeah, so like the whole community loves Mr. Brackett. He is beloved.
They do, yeah.
And
he's also engaged to another teacher there, Emily Montgomery, played by the great Joan Cusack, and they've been engaged for 3 years.
Which everybody seems to make a big deal of. I was like, that doesn't seem that like 3 years. It doesn't seem that long, does it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like most people who, when they get engaged, they get married within like a year and a half or something. Because, it does take a long time to plan a wedding.
It does, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was about a year and a half. Maybe maybe closer to 2, but that's because we're just planning shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, it was like a long engagement. The whole town seemed to be very invested in their wedding.
Like, yes. Yes.
Everybody's like, you're doing it, right? You're getting married, right? Like, this is happening, right? It's going to be great, right?
And like Howard's mother, played by Debbie Reynolds, she's like, hey, I will love you no matter what. If you're straight, if you're gay, if you like go up on a roof with a shotgun and start killing people, as long as you have this great big wedding.
Yes.
It's like, okay, wow.
Yes. The wedding is very important. And also, I mean, with just the impetus for this whole film is Mr. Brackett used to teach this person, Cameron Drake, who went off to Hollywood to become a big-time movie star. He's like the hot new thing in Hollywood. Right. And they all gather to watch his the Oscars, where he's nominated for this big film.
Yeah. He played a gay soldier in a film called To Serve and Protect, and we see some clips of the film. It's, if you remember the film clips in Tropic Thunder, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, that's part surprise. I didn't expect them to go like full parody with the Oscar films and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a little weird because it's like, okay, we're supposed to believe that this is a legit drama film and it's nominated for all these Oscars and stuff, but what we see of the film is pretty silly.
Yeah, like they're definitely going for like Brokeback Mountain in the Army, basically, is what they're going for. But at the same time, they also want to make fun of Oscar baity films like that. So at one point, you're like, oh, I see what they're doing. But yeah, them making fun of it and sort of mocking that is also kind of takes you out of it a little bit, even though it is kind of funny what they do.
Yeah, yeah, it is funny, but it's also like I can't really believe this would legit be an Oscar-nominated film. So,
Right.
yeah, they're trying to have it both ways, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially when we see at the Oscar award show, we see Glenn Close come out,
Hmm.
not uh, announcing the nominees, and the nominees are Paul Newman for Coot,
Hmm.
Clint Eastwood for Codger, Michael Douglas for Primary Urges, and Steven Seagal for Snowball in Hell.
Yeah, that was cute.
Steven Seagal. Oh boy,
That
I
was
see what
cute.
you're doing there.
I think they did, the Coot and Codric because I don't. I think this wasn't too long after like the Grumpy Old Men movies, maybe.
Mm. Yeah, it
Um,
sounds about right.
yeah, and Primary Urges is just the perfect fake title of a Michael Douglas film because that particularly like '90s Michael Douglas too.
Yeah, when he was getting all sexed up and
Yeah,
boned up in his
he
films.
always played like a beleaguered white man in
Yeah,
stuff, like in Basic Instinct or Falling Down or
yeah,
yeah.
that
It was
was his
always just
MO.
like Michael Douglas, like, why does the world revolve around me anymore?
Oh, why must I sleep with these beautiful women?
Oh, oh.
This is not my beautiful house. As the day goes by. Okay.
So at the Oscars, so Cameron Drake, played by Matt Dillon, he wins, and he gets up and gives an acceptance speech, and he thanks his old drama teacher Howard Brackett in the speech, and he also goes, and he's gay. And
Yeah, and also we see that literally everybody in town is watching this Oscar speech.
right, yeah,
Howard and Emily, Howard's parents, like everybody is at their house with like Oscar viewing parties.
right, because it's like the hometown boy makes good.
Right. So once
So
he says and he's gay, everybody is. You can hear a pin drop.
yes.
Everybody's like, what?
Yeah, and Emily's like, Howard, that's not true, is it? And I like how like literally a couple minutes after that happens, his doorbell rings and it's his parents,
Yes.
Wilford Brimley and Debbie Reynolds,
Yeah.
and they're both like just quietly concerned.
Yeah. The dad said like we need to sue him. Get that Johnny Cochran guy, not that woman.
Yeah.
It's like all right.
Yeah, and apparently the inspiration for this film was when Tom Hanks won the Oscar for Philadelphia. In his acceptance speech, he thanked an old teacher, a drama teacher that he had, and he was like, and he's one of the finest gay Americans I've ever known.
Mm.
And apparently, Paul Rudnick saw this, and he was like, "Oh, well, what if the guy wasn't out?
Oh.
And what if he was like actually about to get married in a week?"
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So that was the inspiration for this, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not
Mm-hmm.
bad. Interesting. So yeah, so people are calling Howard, it's like, hey, Cameron said you're gay. Is that true? And of course,
Yeah.
like, no.
You, Kevin Kline, no homo, right?
You're like the bros, right there, Kev.
Yeah.
Oh, Maroon.
Yeah.
It was filmed in Jersey, so that's why. Bam! So the next day, he gets out of bed, he bikes to school.
Right. He bikes. He doesn't drive for some reason. They never really get into why. Is biking gay? Is that what this movie is saying?
What this movie presupposes is it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's fine now, but I guess back in the late 90s, people saw you on the bike. They're like, okay.
Oh, a little sus.
Yeah.
Sus.
Why are you riding a chopper?
Yeah.
So he gets to the high school. News cameras are swarming all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Army of reporters.
Yeah.
Just wanting to talk to him.
Including Mr. Tom Selleck.
Yes.
He's playing a reporter by the name of Peter Malloy.
Yes. Mustacheless Tom Selleck.
This was like big news at the time because like Tom Selleck, he shaved off his mustache for the first time in years.
Wow.
And it was startling to see him without a mustache.
He's almost unrecognizable a little bit. I mean, he's still a handsome man, but
oh yeah,
but with the mustache, I mean, I don't know, with or without mustache. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I look at mustachioed Tom Selleck as being the norm. I mean, because I grew up knowing him as Magnum PI and all that, and we've had here in the year 2025. We've had many years of mustachioed Tom Selleck on Blue Bloods and and stuff. So yeah, I mean, when I think of Tom Selleck, my mental picture is a guy with a mustache. But I've seen him in enough things without a mustache too that doesn't really weird me out
Yeah,
anymore.
it is weird. Like I remember seeing there's one film like that came out a couple years ago with Mark Maron in it, and he shaved off his mustache for it.
Right.
Every time I look, I'm like, wow. It takes me a minute. It is a little jarring to see Mark Maron without any facial hair. It's like,
Oh,
oh,
Mark Maron. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Mark Maron.
Okay. Yeah.
Pow.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Clean shaven Mark Maron.
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's weird. Yeah,
It
that's a
is
little
like,
weird.
have you ever seen like old pictures of clean shaven Zach Galifianakis, like when he was younger?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is.
He's got this baby face, and I think he had a joke in his act that he'd like looked like Jodie Foster without his beard.
No, I see. He looks good. He's a good-looking dude without the beard. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, all right, he's kind of handsome. And
yeah,
then like the beard, I guess maybe the beard's funnier or something. But either way, to see
yeah,
him like a clean-shaven Zach Galifianakis, that's like, wow.
yeah. You know what I would like? I would be very curious to see is a clean shaven Jason Mantzoukas.
Oh my! I don't think the world's ready for that, man.
I don't think they are either, but I'm
I
very
look,
curious, and I'm just fascinated by it.
look. Our society's hanging on by a thread as it is.
I
I
mean,
don't.
this is true. This is true.
I think
Yeah.
a clean-shaven Jason Mantzoukas would be the thing to just tip us over the edge, and like from to a point where we won't be able to come back from.
Yeah, I mean, as a society, that would tip
Yeah,
us over into like Mad Max territory.
exactly.
Um,
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
yeah. I mean, I wonder if there's ever like going to be a part that comes along where he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'll shave it and change my whole look for this."
I don't know.
But yeah, I think half of his work is because of his look. So
Yeah,
yeah,
like yeah. I don't even know what would be under all that. That would
I don't know either. I don't know either.
be
It'd be
terrifying.
like if you're a comic fan, like imagining Alan Moore without his massive Hagrid beard.
Ah,
Yeah, I am okay. Total tangent about Alan Moore. I am perversely fascinated. I want to see like a picture of Alan Moore just smiling broadly. I'm fascinated. I'm like, what do this man's teeth look like? Because he is never smiling in any photos. He's always just looking very serious and glum and
yes, smiling.
I want to see like Alan Moore giggling.
Oh my! A giggly Alan Moore.
Yeah. I mean, it has to happen at some point. I mean, I've seen him like sort of smile, but it's like closed mouth smile. I want to see him like
You want to
showing
see?
his choppers.
You want to see him glee ridden?
Exactly.
That's the dream. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. AI, make
So
it happen.
so anyway, there's this big controversy. There's like swarms of reporters, and this is like the day after the Oscars, so they're all looking to get a pull quote from Howard about this.
Right.
And Howard's like telling everyone, "But I'm not gay." And
Right. And yeah. And I mean, his class asked him about it. There's that one
mhm.
guy played by Zach Orton, who I believe was in Wet Hot
Zach
American.
Worth.
Zach Orf, that's it.
Yeah.
Yes. Who's in Wet Hot American Summer.
Yep.
And then he's like, "Well, I could kind of see it because you're smart and you're clean and you're kind of prissy. So
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
you ride a bike to work. Of course, people are gonna think that."
Yeah. Yeah, Zach Worth is very good in this film. He's very funny in his supporting part.
He is, yeah, for sure.
And
And
we also got Lauren Ambrose from 6 Feet Under
oh, what a show!
as
Yeah,
another
yeah.
one of his students, and
And we also have the principal, Tom Hallowell, played by the late great Bob Newhart.
Bob Newhart. Bob Newhart is so damn good in this film. He is so damn funny.
He's really good.
Because like Bob Newhart, of course, plays nervous and flustered very well. So he's like nothing but nervous and flustered through this thing, and he's just uncomfortable to even raise the question.
Yes, just like looking at the ground, just talking in a low voice, like,
Right.
oh, oh, oh boy.
But he's also like, oh well, I don't want to raise this question, but I kind of have to because it's a whole thing. Because 1997, it's like
Yeah.
concern about gay people teaching our kids.
Won't someone think of the children?
Yeah, I mean, hey, thank God that we're recording this in 2025 when everything is a-okay for gay people everywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh,
Oh
uh,
wait, let me just look at the news and
oh God, no!
oh
Oh
dear,
no! Oh dear.
Well, that's no good.
Happy Pride Month, everybody!
Happy Pride Month.
Yay!
So Peter Malloy, Tom Selleck's character, says, "I'm going to do a full week covering this, like the whole lead up to your wedding on all
Right,
this."
yeah.
And yeah.
Because, like, he works in Hollywood, and
Mm-hmm.
I think he talks about how, he's not doing too great, and in certain circles, and
Mm-hmm.
his network is coming down on him. So he says, like, all these other reporters are just going to be here and gone in like a day or two. I'm doing a whole week on you, my man. I'll be there at the wedding and everything. And of course, and of course, like, this upsets Howard and gets him all flustered,
Mm-hmm.
and so he's doing everything to prove his manhood, especially when he goes to his bachelor party.
Yes.
Which comes up, and of course all his friends are there. So, before he shows up, they're like, "Hey, don't mention what happened at the Oscars. I'm sure he doesn't want to hear it."
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, the bachelor party's happened. The boys are ready to get rowdy, and of course, they, the big way, the way they want to celebrate is watching Funny Girl.
Yeah, they're like, "We got you the uncut version of Funny Girl."
Yeah!
And it comes out that Howard is like this huge Barbra Streisand fan, apparently, and he's like he's like done marathons of Barbra Streisand movies with all his friends. And I think it's at this point in the movie you're just like, oh, okay, this isn't just like a mistaken thing. He's actually like a deeply closeted man.
Yes.
I think that's what you're supposed to think at this point in the movie.
I think so. Yeah. I think I kind of, like, part of me wishes they kind of got into it a little bit more, like, about his past, and like maybe why I mean, maybe not why why he likes what he likes, but like,
mm-hmm.
like reasons why.
But why he felt he had to hide who he was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the movie doesn't really dive too deep into that, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was one part where they kind of did a little. Well, we'll get to it, but they didn't go deep enough, I thought.
But I did like in the bachelor party, because Howard has subjected all his friends to all of Barbra Streisand's movies. Apparently, they all have opinions, and at one point, like, one of them's like, "She was too old for the part in Yentl," and like Howard like punches him.
Yeah. That sends him over the edge.
Yeah, which is funny because I've never seen Yentl, but I think she does play a teenager at some point in there. And
she does. Oh.
I think she was like in her 30s when she did that movie, because that was like sometime in the early 80s.
Interesting. I don't know. I've never seen it.
Yeah,
but interesting. Okay. Interesting.
I haven't seen that many Barbra Streisand movies. I think I know I've seen Prince of Tides.
I don't think I've seen any Barbra Streisand.
I saw that with my parents back in the 90s.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've seen any Barbra Streisand movies now that I think about it.
I'm not sure if I've seen any of her others.
Yeah. I guess I'm just all man, baby.
Yeah. So
I went full Tool time right there.
You did.
Yeah. More power.
Your inner Tim Allen came out. And there's like a very funny scene where Howard is like meeting with the principal, played by Bob Newhart, and he's like, and Bob Newhart's trying to dance around this, and he's like, "So are you a ho 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 ho?" And Kevin Kline goes, "Homeroom teacher." and Howard at one point goes like, "Do I look gay to you?" And Bob Newhart just goes, "Well, would you walk for me?" Which, oh god! And Bob Newhart just makes that line like 10 times funnier than it is on the page. He was.
Would you walk for me?
He is so good. I love Bob Newhart so much.
He's fantastic in this. But the principal also tells Howard his concerns because he's gotten a lot of calls from the parents.
Yeah.
And he doesn't state that if Howard wasn't getting married, he'd probably have to fire him. But he's right. He kind of slyly implies that might be the case. So yeah, that's even more pressure for Howard to get married this weekend, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, so much so that Howard ends up going to confession and talking to a priest about it, even though he was raised Catholic.
He wasn't raised Catholic.
He wasn't raised Catholic. Oh, sorry. Yeah. All right. And and that's when Howard admits that he has never been physically intimate with his fiance for 3 years, which I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Like, kind of a red flag.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's because I respect her so much. I was like,
yeah. And the priest actually advises him, like, well, you need to, like, have relations with her as soon as possible. And he's like, you don't want me to wait to the wedding? And the priest is like, no. You had to, like, prove this to yourself and to others.
Yeah, go get some.
Which I'm like, I don't know if a Catholic priest would or could advise that. But
I mean, no, the church is sailing through some very murky waters these days. So
I mean,
who knows?
but they're pretty clear on they frown on premarital sex, from what I understand. So
except for this guy, he's like, nah, you're good. Go.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, go fuck her brains out. Yeah,
go tap that boy.
And so we cut to Emily. She's at home. She's like working out to a Richard Simmons tape. We find out that she's over the course of several years, she's lost a lot of weight. I think they say she's lost like 75 pounds.
Yeah. She's she was overweight a number of years ago, and she's kind of put herself through a lot just to lose all the weight, and so she's like constantly working out and not snacking and everything.
Right.
So that's where we have Howard bursting through her door, just kissing her passionately.
Yeah.
I guess, and just like throwing her
the passion that can only come from trying to prove that you are not in fact homosexual.
Yes, of course. Throwing her on the bed, and he's ripping.
We've all been there, right, guys?
Right, guys? Come on.
Right?
We were all in college at one point, right?
Yeah. You remember when you were desperately trying to prove that you were straight to everybody?
Right?
Right,
guys.
That's a common everyday experience, right?
Right?
Did you see that game last week? Hell of a game.
Yeah, hell of a game. So then, of course, he tosses her onto the bed. He rips off his own shirt saying, "Who's gay, huh?"
Yeah.
Which, of course, is the most manly thing you can scream when you're about to.
Yeah, I mean, nothing turns women on more than hearing who's gay now.
My God. It leaves them moist.
Yeah.
So he insists he insists that they're gonna, it's gonna happen. They're gonna get married, and Emily tries to console him, saying like she isn't worried. She's sure everything's gonna be okay, but I think he sees the Richard Simmons video, which freaks him out because,
right.
I mean,
because she just muted the TV when she went to answer the door.
Yes, yeah.
So
so that causes him to freak out some more, so he leaves and like dashes away on his bike in a panic.
Mm-hmm.
And speeding through the street through an intersection where Peter Malloy almost hits him with his car, causes Howard on the bike to swerve and fall into the grass. Mm-hmm. Peter pulls over, and then the two of them have a nice little talk.
Yeah, and Howard finds out that Peter is actually gay.
Ooh.
And he's like, "Oh, what? You're gay?" And he's like, "You came out?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I came out to everybody. I came out to my friends, my parents, my dog."
Oh boy.
And they're like, he's like, "How did that go?" And he's like, "Well, it was like, Sparky, I'm gay."
Arf.
Yeah, that's cute. And Peter kind of thinks that Howard is gay, even though Howard himself is not sure. Although I guess he's maybe starting to question it slightly by this point. And so to prove his point, Peter lays a big old smack on Howard. There's a big kiss. One of the letterbox reviews I saw said it was like a 12-second kiss. I didn't time it myself, but let's say it was 12 seconds.
Yeah, and we see Howard kind of, he doesn't fight it off.
There's some good physical comedy where, like, like Tom Selleck just like is like, I'm gonna just lay one on you. I mean, he just does it without warning, and then we see like Kevin Kline. He's like very startled at first, and then he sort of goes, his whole body goes limp, and then he like is getting into it, and at one point he like lifts up his leg and he's wrapping it around.
Oh my!
Tom Selleck. It's a very funny physical comedy.
Yeah, very good. And of course, then he pulls away and is like, "This is not Los Angeles. This is
you can't do this sort of thing in public." And then, of course, Howard's parents are driving by. They've just picked up the wedding cake.
Oh boy!
And they're like, "Hey, is everything okay? Is there anything not heterosexual going on here? And what one of my favorite lines in the movie where Howard is just, he's very flustered. He just says, "Oh, we just ran into each other here at the intersexual. I mean, at the homosection. I mean, that that's very funny. I mean, it's a good play on words, too.
Homosection.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a good little scene.
And I'll also give a little tip of the hat to Tom Selleck. I really like how he plays the part here, like, because Tom Selleck, he doesn't camp it up at all.
No, not at all.
He just plays it as with all his normal Tom Selleck mannerisms, which is good because it's supposed to be a surprise that he's gay in the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And and two, it would be just. It's nice that they didn't go for the stereotype there.
Yeah, I mean, there are some campy moments throughout this movie, but yeah, he pretty much plays it pretty grounded.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah, which is nice. Which is nice.
Exactly.
So,
I mean,
I like Tom Selleck. I've always enjoyed him.
Yeah, he's good stuff. Magnum PI. Come on, baby.
Yeah.
With the Detroit hat and Hawaiian shirt. Got a black friend with the helicopter. Man,
looking at that lady's butt in the ocean.
Come on now.
Yeah.
He's what's up.
He does that little eyebrow wiggle thing at the end. Yeah, it's just fun.
Ladies' man, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Come on. But yeah, and so then we cut to Howard going home, listening to these audio instructional tapes about how to be a man and
exploring your masculinity.
Right. And then we have a pretty interesting scene where he's listening to this voice telling him to untuck his shirt.
Right.
Grab your nuts. Don't tuck in your shirt because that's what that's what the gay people do.
Yeah, gay people are neat and well put together.
Yeah, and then then he starts playing some disco music.
They're playing "I Will Survive" by Gloria Gaynor.
Yes, and he's saying, "Don't dance. True manly men don't dance. Men have men have jobs. They work hard. They have bad backs, but they do not dance."
Yeah.
Like you see Arnold Schwarzenegger, he doesn't dance. That man can barely walk.
Yeah.
There's a lot of what? A lot of weird kind of jokes or commentary jokes kind of thrown in.
This scene, I've always thought this scene was kind of weird, and I always thought this scene, it is funny, but I always felt it didn't quite fit because it kind of breaks the fourth wall a bit.
Yeah, a little
because
bit.
It's like the audio tape is like basically talking back to Kevin Kline, and it's this weird, surreal humor that we don't see anywhere else in the film, and it just makes me scratch my head a bit,
a little bit. Like I do wonder, is this voice actually on the audio tape, or is this what he's thinking? What's going on in Howard's mind? Like real men don't dance,
right? Yeah, if it's in his head, it's not clear,
right? Can you hear the demon? Dance, the demon whispers. Do not give in. But yeah, Howard eventually gives in and dances. But I see what you mean. It does kind of, because it is like Howard kind of having this awakening that he might be a gay man, but it's kind of undercut with this comedy of the man on the audio tape, screaming at him not to dance and pulling him up.
I might have less of a problem with it if say another character had come in on him and then it became clear that it was what he was hearing was in his head, and it's like, well, what are you talking about? They're not playing "I Will Survive" or something like that. That I think would have, I don't know, it would have made the humor jibe with the rest of the movie a little better.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so Howard gave in to the demon. He danced, so I will survive, and he just had this realization. Next, we go to the wedding day. It's the big day. Everybody's there. Emily walks down the aisle in her dress, looking great, and Howard is there in his tux, looking spiffy.
Yeah.
The priest talks about, how this is a holy matrimony. This, in the eyes of God, is a truly sacred event. Emily says, "I do." Howard says, "I'm gay."
Wow. Is that not how vows go?
No, that's not how I did it.
Oh, okay.
No. It's
okay.
That is no.
So,
no.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's a gay wedding, which is great.
I think even at a gay wedding, I don't think you say you're gay. at that moment in the ceremony.
It's just implied, I guess.
I guess, the fact that there's another dude there that you're getting married to, that's
or woman.
I think people keep it up from context clues,
There's one guy in the audience like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Son of a bitch.
So, do you remember the Lonely Island short where they do a spring break anthem, and it just kind of gradually goes into about getting married to a man?
Oh, wow. I don't think I've seen that in a while.
Oh, it's really funny. Like Andy Samberg, let's see, like one of them is marrying Ed Norton. One of them is, I think Samberg is marrying Zach Galifianakis.
Ooh,
and one of them is marrying James Franco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Before. It was in the before.
Yeah, time. It was, before we knew the whole thing about James Franco. But, yeah.
Yeah, that does sound like a Lonely Island type of sketch.
Yeah. It was just like, it's like, spring break, and it's talking about how they're like going to get shit-faced, and then it's like, marry a man.
Okay.
And I read like they were saying like the whole point of it was just like they were sort of showing how like the spring break debauchery behavior is considered socially acceptable, but marrying a man is not. And they have a great lyric in the end where it's like just we'll be so great when we walk down the aisle, two kings walking hand in hand. And I'm like, that's awesome.
That's fantastic. Yeah. That's a great point. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, now I gotta see this sketch now.
I'll send you a link, sir.
Yeah. Maybe we'll put it up on our blue sky at SNL Nerds.
Maybe.
At SNL Nerds.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Howard says, I'm gay. Emily, rightfully so, freaks out, storms off.
Right.
Howard follows. They go to the back room, and she like you said, she's like storming back and forth, like 75 pounds. I lost 75 pounds for this. Thank God my parents are dead. This would have killed them.
Yeah. And then like she comes out of the back room and she's like, do you know how many times I've had to watch Funny Girl? And then she ends up punching Howard.
Right.
Joan Cusack is just so brilliant.
She's good. And I do
that Oscar nomination, 100% deserved.
She's so underrated. Like, she kills everything she's in. And I do like how with her character, they do flesh out her character a little bit more, because when they're having the argument in the back, she talks about how, like, she knows she has, like, low self-esteem, and how she kind of puts her self-worth in the hands of the approval of men, and like the fact that, she saw signs, but didn't really say anything about it. Like, I know you were into Barbara Streisand, but I just thought you were like creative. And I thought you were like cultured, and you were going to kind of show me the world and take me away from all this. So I put away any doubts I had, just because I thought you were the one to sort of take me out of all this, and it didn't happen. So you do. I mean, there are a lot of funny beats in there, but then you do get some glimpses of her true, like, sort of humanity. And it's like, that's really nice.
That's nice. I mean, I wish it had been more peppered in throughout the movie rather than all coming out in the one scene. But
that's true. That would have been
better than nothing, though.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, this is like a quick movie. It's only like an hour and a half, so
it's really it's pretty short.
Yeah, it flies by. I mean,
it really does. So then Emily, of course, punches Howard, like you said, drives off in their car in her wedding dress, so like half the dress is sticking out the car door.
Yeah.
As she peels off. Yeah. Peter congratulates Howard for everything. Of course, Howard's like, what are you talking about? I ruined Emily's life. I killed her life. And
and he's like, and Peter's like, no, you saved her life. I mean, because, getting married to a gay guy who's not really come to grips with the fact that he's gay, that's not a recipe for a happy marriage.
Very true. And, still Howard is spiraling, talking about how she ruined her mother's day, because his mother really wanted this huge wedding, and now that's ruined. And, but still, like, Peter is just trying to console him. But at the same time, he's also has his cameraman recording the whole thing as it goes down. And, Howard punches Peter. And
a lot of punching in this movie.
A lot of punch. A lot of people just flying off the handle, just fisticuffs left and right, to and fro. And while all this is going on, we cut to Hollywood, where we see Cameron is watching Peter's report on TV and watching this all go down. And Peter sees what his words have, not Peter, Cameron sees what his words have done. It's like, oh, I think I need to go back to Greenleaf to like smooth things over and make this right.
Yeah. He finds out that, about Howard coming out at his own wedding, and he's like, oh, geez, am I responsible for this? I got to go, make this right.
And he also has a model girlfriend who he tells to, pack some stuff. We're going to go to Indiana. And of course she says, but I promised Isaac I'd do his show this afternoon. I have to go shower and vomit. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of jokes about like the way too skinny supermodel, and like the lady they cast as the supermodel girlfriend. She is very skinny.
Yeah, I was like, wow, we got some supermodel commentary in here too.
Ooh, yeah, apparently Elizabeth Hurley was up for that part.
Ooh, I could see that.
So, yeah,
very nice, very nice. So the whole town is dealing with the aftermath of the wedding not happening and everything going down. I think Howard's mom says to her friends, I can understand Howard being gay, but how could he not want a wedding?
Yeah.
There's a lot of good, like, kind of sly jokes here and there, like, kind of slipped in.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. And then, of course, I think one of Howard's mom's friends is like, no, he just wanted to clear the air and make sure everything was out there. I think we'd all feel better if we cleared the air about all our stuff. And, then they start clearing the air. One of them talks about how she hates bridges of Madison County.
Yeah.
And then another woman says her husband has 3 testicles.
Which, wow.
That's a leap.
I mean, first off, that's not really your secret. That's more your husband's secret.
Yeah, you're really... Way to
really throwing him under the bus.
Way to out your husband, ma'am.
And secondly, I don't even know if that's physically possible.
I don't think... I mean, a third nipple I've heard of. A third testicle.
Yeah.
That's an abnormality. You need to go to a doctor.
That's
too sweet.
Wow, that's like one more than normal.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You did the count, right?
Yeah, I did the math. The number checks out.
Right. Yeah, you carry the one.
Yeah. So we have Wilford Brimley going back to the house where we see Howard is at, very despondent, staring out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Ask him, hey, are you still gay? Are you going to have an operation or something?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, Dad, I'm still gay. And we've learned that Howard got a call from the school. Sure enough, he was fired. Which is...
Yeah, that's a real 1997 moment.
Yeah. I was like,
you're fired just because you're gay. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's really upsetting.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Cameron and his girlfriend checking into a motel. He tries to find Howard. The girlfriend is upset. She doesn't really want to be there. She says, I'm going to call my agent. And of course, she's staring at a rotary phone and has no idea how to use it.
Right.
Nice little sight gag.
And then as Cameron's leaving, he's like, oh, you go get something to eat. And she's like horrified. She's like, food?
Because supermodels don't eat. They're all skinny.
They all have eating disorders. It's fun.
It's fun to make fun of people's body types.
Yeah.
Take that, Karen Carpenter.
And what they do to achieve it. Yeah.
Oh, boy. So
we cut to Emily. She's still, despondent. She's still in her wedding dress. She goes to this Roadhouse bar, and she's like, I'm gonna get drunk, and then she gets vodka, and who's there? But Peter, Tom Selleck is there.
Wow.
Yeah, and she needs to like prove her femininity to herself, I think, and so she like propositions Peter. And she's like, "Hey, you're a man, I'm a woman. Let's get it on."
Yeah. To quote Marvin Gaye,
right?
Let's get it on. I've been really trying, baby.
And she's like, "I don't even care if you're married or if you're with somebody. I just need to do this." And he's like, "No, I can't because I'm gay." And then she has one of the best lines in the movie when she comes out of the bar. She just goes, "Is everybody gay?" So funny.
Everybody.
I mean, just the way her line reading on that is just singed into my brain. Just, is everybody gay? So funny.
I need a heterosexual code red.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then she runs out into the street and she's like hit by a car or nearly hit by a car, and it's Cameron is driving in his car, and they sort of lay the track for this earlier in the movie, but like he was one of her students
yeah,
back in the day.
I think they said that she was a student teacher
Right.
because like the two of them are pretty close in age. Actually,
I think I read they were like 2 years apart in age in real life. So.
yeah, Cusack's like 2 years older than him, so
Yeah.
it's not
Which
too
in
crazy.
Hollywood is just horrifying.
Oh my god! Oh, ask DiCaprio. He'll tell you.
I mean, a woman being older than a man, is that
Ew.
legal?
Yeah. Ugh. Not my Hollywood.
Yeah. And she's like, and Cameron recognizes her, and she's going off about how she'd like lost all this weight for Howard, and he turned out to be gay and ruined her wedding day and all that. And Cameron says, "Oh, well, you were beautiful back in the day, and we read Romeo and Juliet and all the time."
Yeah, and then
and
the two of
stuff.
them
And,
reconnect. Yeah.
yeah. Them getting involved is kind of out of nowhere, I thought, but
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, they said it like you said. They set it up in the beginning,
right.
but I mean, I guess they feel like they needed that because
I totally get why they did it. I mean,
yeah,
because they don't want it to be. They want to give Joan Cusack some semblance of a happy ending. So
yeah, but I mean, now that I think about it, it is weird because like they do set up that all of her self-worth kind of comes from a man,
mm-hmm.
right? So like she does have a happy ending, but because of a man. Like a part of me thinks like, oh, maybe it would have been nice if she like did some soul searching and try to find, learn to love herself.
Yeah,
and like learn to find her own self-worth and whatnot. Like,
but it's faster and easier just to have like a man just be like, "No, you're good."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yay!
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
I
can love myself again."
You're welcome, little lady.
You're welcome, ladies.
Once again, man has solved another problem.
Yes. Dun, 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 dun.
Man!
Men are great, aren't they?
We're fantastic.
Men, 100%, no notes. we're just killing it left and right.
The good Lord knocked it out the park on the first try.
That's right.
When he made man.
Yeah, but I that's the one thing I was just like, well, this is really random, but okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but she's happy, so okay.
And he's with a woman who eats, so
yeah, he likes them thick.
I guess
ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
Because like women who are bulimic or whatever are undeserving of love, maybe.
Oh boy, yeah.
Is that what this movie's saying? I don't know.
Yeah, we're getting all problematic now. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Ooh, selling some dangerous waters.
Yeah, I saw like after I finished the movie, I went on over to Letterboxd as I do, and Trumbull Comic on Letterboxd, by the way. And yeah, one of the reviews was like kind of going off on the movie. It was like, yeah, this movie hates women. I was like, okay, you're going a little hard on it, but
yeah, that's some people have their own agendas.
It's a cute movie, Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like I don't know. Yeah. People have their own agendas when they go into some movies. Sometimes,
yeah. I felt this person was judging it a little more harshly than it deserved. So
yeah, fair enough. So next up, it's graduation day. It's the college graduation for all the kids.
Wait, and this is like literally the day after the called off wedding.
Yeah. So I guess this would have been on. So the wedding was like on a Sunday, maybe, or
they said the wedding is on a Sunday, and they say graduation is on a Monday.
All right.
But don't the Oscars usually happen like around March or something?
Yeah.
And if they're graduating, this has got to be around May or June. I don't know. I'm putting more thought into this timeline than the movie has, probably. But
the movie's asking you not to think about it too much.
Yeah. So.
Absolutely. So it's graduation day. Howard attends, even though he's no longer working there.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course we see all the kids in their mortarboards and gowns.
Yep.
And then the principal is going to give out the award for a Teacher of the Year.
Yay!
Everybody believes Howard is a shoo-in, but it
Yeah.
turns out it goes to Edward Kenro.
Yeah, some rando that we saw in like maybe one or two scenes.
Yeah, some dude like
So,
barely.
fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck you, Kenro.
Yeah,
not my Teacher of the Year.
No. And then Cameron interrupts the ceremony and just talking about like, hey, I thought Howard Brackett was up for this. Why isn't he getting Teacher of the Year?
Hey, what happened?
Yeah. and they come out that they say Howard resigned, and they're kind of putting Bob Newhart on the spot, saying like, well, what's going on? What's the problem? Because he was so great a week ago. What's the problem? What's different now? And Bob Newhart says, well, it was a question of influence. And they're like, oh, what? Are you afraid that he'll like send out homosexual cooties and make everybody else gay?
Voodoo vibes or gay microwave vibes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Which I think in 1997 we thought were a thing.
What, gay microwave vibes?
Yeah, I think so.
Really? No. Did we?
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past 1997.
Maybe, yeah.
I feel like that's something the Trump administration's probably going to try and bring back, so, yeah.
They're bringing the gay microwaves.
Yeah.
Bring it over, and yeah.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're gay microwaving people.
Yeah, 4 more years.
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, so wow, all right, now we're depressed. But
yeah.
But let's bring it up.
Let's barrel through. Yeah.
That's right. But yeah, so all the students, you can tell this is the first time they're hearing that Howard is no longer at the school.
At the school, yeah.
A lot of people are very upset, including one kid, Jack, who Howard went out of his way to make sure he got into a good college and like drove him there to orientation and everything, and really formed a bond with him and looked out for him.
Yeah, I think he's the student that was nervous about reading his acceptance letter at the beginning of the movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's when everybody's kind of talking about, him, Howard no longer being at the school. That's where Jack gets the courage to stand up and announces that he is gay.
Right.
And, helped him to get into college. And yes, I am gay. And then one of the other students is like, oh my God, I think, being there, Mr. Brackett rubbed off on me. Now I'm gay too.
Yeah.
And then more and more students stand up saying, yeah, I'm gay too. I'm gay too.
It's like a more homosexual I Am Spartacus.
Yes. It's a very much, oh, Captain, my Captain, or farewell, Mr. Bunting. Except that no one's getting decapitated in this. And then suddenly Howard's brother stands up and says, yeah, I'm gay too. And Howard's mom and dad stand up and say, yeah, we're gay too. And the entire community stands up and announces that they're all gay, to support Howard, this man that meant so much to them in the town.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful moment. And then Cameron walks up on stage, gives Howard his Oscar, which is technically Kevin Kline's Oscar, so he's just giving it back to him.
He's just giving Kevin Kline his own Oscar, and he's like, I already had this. I won this in like 1988.
You're giving me back my
What the fuck, dude? Why did you take my Oscar?
What did you do with this? Ew, smells.
Yeah. It's all greasy. Wash your hands before you handle it. God.
Yeah, last I got a little while, I got all fucked up.
Don't eat fried chicken before you handle my Oscar, please.
Don't eat fried chicken with my Oscar.
Yeah.
So we get this nice little moment of the whole town, accepting Howard and having his back, and it's very sweet. It's very lovely.
Yeah. And Bob Newhart even agrees to like give him his job back.
Yes. Oh, they do. They did that, right?
Did they say that, or
I don't think?
Am I just reading into that?
I'm reading into that they did, but I don't remember seeing that.
Maybe they didn't specifically say that. I remember Kevin Kline hugging Bob Newhart at the end, and Bob Newhart's like sort of flinching because he's still uncomfortable around gay
Like,
people.
oh, don't.
But because it's Bob Newhart, you still love him.
Yeah, it's okay,
You know,
Bob.
even only Bob Newhart can make homophobia so lovable.
Oh, look at him. He's all afraid around the gay people.
Yeah,
That's adorable.
yeah.
And then cut to a few years later, we see Howard's parents renewing their vows. So his mom does get to have the big wedding that she.
Well, it's like it's a little fake out because we see like Kevin Kline,
Yes.
he's like he's in a tuxedo, he's getting ready, and then we see like Tom Selleck, and he's in a tuxedo, and you're like, ooh, are Kevin Kline and Tom Selleck getting together?
Oh,
are they having a gay wedding?
Yeah,
that what's going on?
Nice
big
day,
old gay wedding.
Nice day for a gay wedding.
Gay wedding.
Start again. Come on!
But no, it's actually Wilford Brimley and Debbie Reynolds renewing their vows.
Yeah,
and so she gets her big wedding.
Yay!
Yay!
And then it ends with a wedding reception. Everybody dancing to Macho Man. Mm-hmm. It's implied that Howard and Peter are together, but you don't really get the sense that they are. Or it's kind of implied.
I mean, they're at least friendly, and yeah. I mean, if they're together, then that makes sense why Peter would be there at the wedding Howard's parents renewing their vows.
Yeah,
but we don't see them like kiss again or holding hands or anything like that because 1997.
Right, we can't have that.
I mean, we have the one kiss. I mean, come on, what?
Yeah, I mean,
what are we making Jeffrey again?
Oh, yes. It's also kind of implied that Cameron and Emily are a thing, but like they're together and she's snacking on Utz cheese puffs.
Yeah. So she's like putting her weight back on because she's loved for her.
Mm-hmm. Like a lady with some hips.
Yeah, and Cameron's supermodel ex is now hooked up with Howard's brother, or we see them dancing together at the reception.
Yeah, I know. Like, Howard's brother really doesn't have too many lines in his film, so
no.
He doesn't really. I just see he's just always wearing a baseball cap. It's like, it's like the guy with the hat. Okay,
that's his thing. Yeah,
that's his thing, and and that's pretty much the end of the movie.
Everybody's just dancing and happy, and it's like a feel good sort of ending.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, overall, I thought it was a fun movie. It was cute. Mm-hmm. I part of me did wish it kind of went a little deeper with with a few things. A little bit more. It was a little bit more campier than I thought it'd be.
It does get kind of campy at times. I wish they'd gotten a little more into like why and how Howard was so closeted. I feel like the movie is like painting a picture where he's like just so deeply in denial that even he doesn't realize that he's gay until this all comes out. But I wish they got into that a little bit more because it's like I assume most gay people know that they're gay on some level.
Yeah. Like I would love to I would have liked to get into that more because it just seems like he kind of realized he was gay. Like once he, danced to "I Will Survive" and whatnot,
right.
And then
that's what does it. Yeah,
of course. Gloria Gaynor.
That song turns you gay.
It's science. It's just
science. Yeah.
Gloria Gaynor. That's a gateway song.
Yeah.
So but I would have. Yeah, like, it seemed like a lot of surface level stuff kind of led to his realization. Where I think I would like to gone a little bit deeper into.
Yeah, and it's a light, fluffy comedy, so maybe that's unfair to put those expectations on it. But you wish there was a little more meat on the bone, I guess.
Yeah, I would. But otherwise, pretty enjoyable. Pretty great lines. I didn't expect it to take as many shots at like Hollywood as it did, and supermodels and whatnot,
and Barbara Streisand,
Maron.
Yeah,
and I didn't expect that. And of course the audio tape where it's taking shots of masculinity and what people think it means to be a real man's man, type of thing. But overall, I enjoyed it. Really good performances. I mean, Joan Cusack's always a superstar.
Yeah,
and
she totally deserved that Oscar nomination. She Did not win. She was beat out by Kim Basinger for L.A. Confidential.
Yeah, she was up for some heavy hitters. I'm looking at now too.
Yeah, yeah.
Minnie Driver for Good Will Hunting,
Uh-huh.
Julianne Moore for Boogie Nights,
Mm.
and Gloria Stewart Rose from Titanic.
Ooh.
I mean, my God.
Didn't give it to the old lady. Wow.
Wow. Way to be ageist, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah, I think Kim Basinger was kind of an upset. I don't think she was anyone's favorite to win.
Yeah.
I do remember watching that Oscars, and I remember like how overcome with emotion Alec Baldwin was. He was like getting teary because he was just so happy for his wife, and
at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was, it was touching to see, but I still kind of wish that Jim Cusack had won,
Yeah, just because, again, comedies rarely get love at the...
Yeah.
I think, like, the last one I remember is, like, Annie Hall. But, getting... That's, like, the last comedy, I think, that won Best Picture. Like, I don't think a comedy's won a Best Picture.
It could be, yeah. I haven't looked into that lately, but yeah, you're probably right.
Like, I'm hard-pressed to remember another comedy film that won Oscar for Best Picture. And there's been some great comedies since then, but yeah, just no love.
I mean, like one of the movies that won like the major 5 Oscars, Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, Best Screenplay, was It Happened One Night, and that's a comedy.
Yeah, dude, Tropic Thunder should have won something.
Yeah.
That movie is a banger.
Yeah.
But, such is life. C'est la vie.
I mean, because it's just as hard to do a good comedy as a good drama, if not harder.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here.
It's, and I'd like, maybe it's a little skewed to put comedies up against dramas at the Oscars or something, but I don't know. Yeah, put them all together. What are you going to do? Like, create a traditional country category when something you don't want wins a Grammy? Yeah. I mean, that's just madness.
That's that way lies madness.
Right.
No one wants that.
And racism.
Yeah, and sexism.
Yeah,
all the isms.
That too. Yeah, all the isms.
Yes.
All the isms.
Yes.
Anti-Beyonce-ism, which should be a crime.
Anti-Beyonce, yeah. Put a ring on it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't even know what we're saying anymore.
Neither do I. We're just railing against all the injustices of the world.
That's right.
And I actually found a 20-year retrospective of this movie on Vanity Fair.
Oh, interesting.
And they were talking about it and just kind of, looking back on it. And they talked to Paul Rudnick, and he said that the kiss between Kevin Kline's character and Tom Selleck's character blew the roof off the theater, inspiring passionate responses, both negative and positive. In one screening, he watched a teenage boy try to climb behind his girlfriend so he wouldn't have to watch it.
Jesus.
I guess he was scared of those gay microwaves.
If I look at 2 men kissing, then I'm going to be gay too.
That'll make me want to kiss somebody.
That's how it works.
I don't know why I just made him Southern. That's prejudice on my part.
But. Yeah, I know. That's something us Northerners, us Yankees do. Like whenever we want to portray ignorance, we just immediately go to the Southern accent, which we should stop doing.
But it says here, Rudnick also remembers a woman who raved about the movie on a test screening card, but she wouldn't recommend the film to a friend. No, against God's law, she wrote.
Jesus Christ. Really?
And Rudnick says, that's the kind of thing you either find tragic, heartbreaking, hateful, or hilarious, and I thought all of the above.
Wow.
If we gave her everything a Hollywood movie comedy could offer and she still had this residual resistance to it, that seemed, among other things, insane. That's what the movie was getting at.
Fair point.
Yeah. And but a fun movie generally holds up well.
I would say so.
There weren't many moments that made me cringe, I would say. Yeah. Because sometimes you were watching a movie from like 20, 30 years ago, sometimes you get to those moments you're like, that hasn't aged well.
Yes. There's no F-bombs, I'm happy to report, throughout this whole movie, so.
Oh yeah, the F slurs.
Yes, F slur. No F slurs at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean.
So it's fun for the whole family.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's our episode, guys. Thanks again for listening to the podcast. As always, you can follow us on Blue Sky at SNL Nerds. You can what else can you do? You can hit us up on our Patreon at Non-Productive.com. You can go to our YouTube page and watch this episode on the YouTube. And as always, you can go and find me on all the social media thingamahoos. It's at Darren Credible. That's DARIN Credible.
And you can follow me on the socials at Trumbull Comic. That's TRUMBULL and the word comic. And and follow the SNL Nerds page. Follow us on Non-Productive.com. All that other stuff you said too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's it. So should we let the people know what's coming up next week next week? That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Next week, and yes, we should let people know.
Okay. Good. So next week, we're gonna put out a new-ish episode, just because it'll be new to those that don't have the Patreon, I guess.
Right. If you're a Patreon, you got this episode early. So.
Yeah. There you go. So because next week I'm gonna be doing a little bit of traveling. I'll be out on the road. I'm not on the run. It's a bit of a vacation trip I've planned. So recording will be a little tricky. So we figured, hey, let's treat all our listeners, and give them a little peek behind the paywall and put out on the main feed the interview we did with Susan Morrison, author of the book Lorne, the Man Who Invented Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. And great book. We've both been reading it. I finished it a little while ago. It was a fascinating discussion. She talks about like the process of writing the book, things she's discovered about Lorne and SNL in the process of writing the book. I'm probably going to re-listen to it because it's been a while since we've done it, and I want to hear it again.
So we talked to Susan Morrison. Give it a listen. It's a really good episode, like for sure. Mm-hmm. Like we got into the meat and potatoes of it.
Yeah,
I learned a lot.
So did I.
Came away a little bit smarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and you need all the help you can get.
Oh, forget about it.
Yeah.
I'm a big old dum-dum. Tune in next week with listen to our interview of the great Susan Morrison.
Yes. So, please tune in and enjoy that. And until then, Nerds out!
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.